Hello there, Ray here, and I'm joined by Activation.
Hello.
And today, guys, we will be showing this AFK concrete converter that is simple, fast, and efficient, which allows you to easily turn the concrete powders into concrete blocks while being AFK, and all the blocks are automatically removed and put into chests for you. If you guys are looking for an infinitely automatic concrete farm, I have designed a couple of them in the past. These are systems where the concrete is automatically duplicated and then it is sent over into a system where it converts it from the powder over into the concrete block. Then it's automatically destroyed by using like TNT or withers. And in those videos, I show how it's possible to actually run this 24/7 without even needing a player. But if concrete duplicating is not allowed on your server, then this system is for you. If TNT duplicating is also not allowed, you can always put in a dispenser here. If you guys enjoy simple farms like this, I have an entire playlist that has over 100 different types of machines and farms you can build up for your very own survival world, and many new ones for 1.16. So make sure you check out that playlist down below. You can easily binge watch it for tons of great ideas. Make sure to share this farm with your favorite Minecrafters. The way that works is that the player is over here AFKing and he is placing in concrete just by holding down right click while AFKing. We'll show you guys how you can do that. The concrete powder is then pushed over to this water here, which converts it into blocks. The blocks are pushed over in front of all these pistons, which push them all downwards. And once this part down here gets filled in with some concrete blocks, then it's going to push them forward exact same time the TNT is going to ignite, breaking all the blocks as block 36, so they have 100% chance of dropping, and then they come down here and get moved over by the water into some hoppers, and then they're all stored away in the chests down below. Make sure you put in a lot of storage because this thing produces a lot of items. The entire machine is quite simple. As you can see, pretty much everything from this area here. You can see the player putting in the concrete, it getting converted, it getting pushed down, getting pushed over, the TNT getting duped over here, and then the TNT blowing up the items, getting transported into the hoppers. A very, very simple setup and shouldn't take more than 30 minutes to build this up once you have the materials. But it's also at max speed for a player AFK holding down right click. There's no reason to go any faster than this. So this machine is actually at max speed, allowing the player to place in 18,000 items per hour. That means you're going to get 18,000 concrete per hour converted over to concrete blocks. And this blast chamber here is 99% efficient, which means you only lose a very small percentage of items. That only occurs under rare circumstances where items can get glitched inside this lump of concrete and can't escape. So Activation designed the whole thing to be based off of the player's input. This is very important because the player can have latency, especially on servers. There's network latency, meaning that the player doesn't technically place in blocks at exact game ticks. Because of this reason, it's important the player's input, being the blocks that the player places in, determines when the rest of the machine is going to activate. So once the concrete moves over to different locations, they're going to be activating different modules of the machine, allowing different things to occur. Once the concrete gets to a situation where it's able to be blown up, it's going to automatically activate a TNT, which is going to then time a system to push the pistons over. Now, if it was based on a clock and not the player input, it's possible for the player to put in blocks and try to have those blocks being pushed forward when other pistons in the system were being extended. And this would cause the concrete to back up.
So this redstone line would come up here and power these pistons, making it 0 tick so the player can right click as fast as possible. And then these observers right here would power these droppers like so. And these droppers would spit out items, restocking the player's concrete inventory. The concrete would come from these chests up here as well. So from the player's input, this concrete would move along this stream over here, move into these few pistons right here. The observer would detect the movement and power these rail lines that would then power these pistons. And we have another observer line that would double pulse these pistons due to the fact that if there are pistons down here, or if there are blocks down here, and they're currently getting moved by that piston, and these blocks can't move, then the double pulse would fix that. And this is incredibly important so the system does not back up. On the other end, though, we have these observers right here, which would power this rail line into this binary counter. And this counter would count 9 items between each system. So every single time a concrete moves past here 9 times, the TNT system would activate. There's an item inside these binary counters that after it would be pulsed 9 times, it would, due to rail update order down here, it would pulse all these droppers at once and send the item signal back to this first dropper, then resetting the signal. This binary counter goes and updates these comparators, which will turn on. They would power this TNT duplicator, and by the time it pulses again, the TNT would be propelled backwards, aligned with this glass pane, and moved down there. On the other side, we have the same system, only we have a comparator right here through a whole bunch of repeater tick delays, simulating about 4 seconds. And then this piston down here, that would then activate this line right here. This observer would update this 2-tick repeater, which is the maximum amount of delay you can get between observer double pulsing or not, and it does not double pulse in this case. So we have these rails right here that would update these observers that would power these pistons. These pistons are powered at the same time as this TNT exploding, as seen here.
Now the TNT does blow up the items in block 36 form, meaning that they are the same blast resistance as like slime or some really weak stuff, meaning that it can blow through more blocks using one explosion. This means that you can destroy more blocks overall with a single TNT source. Now the items do fall downwards, and any items that hang up on ledges will get pushed out when the rest of the concrete comes down and pushes it out over here. Items are then washed through the system to the very end where we have a bunch of hoppers. You need at least 2 sets of hoppers to pick up all the items because it does produce around 18,000 items per hour, and each hopper can only push through 9,000 items per hour. So we definitely need at least 2 hopper lines and going into a lot of storage. We also put in some walls on the side here to prevent items from ending up landing on the edge or landing outside of the farm. We do need to make sure that the blast resistance of the blocks near the TNT are somewhat high, that way it doesn't poke holes through the walls.
So this works in Minecraft versions 1.11 plus. Certain things do need to be changed if you want to build this in 1.13 plus, however. This certain rail right here must be replaced with a dead coral fan, otherwise this duplicator will not work. There is no dispenser version of this farm, but you can easily make that. And it works in 1.15.2 and up, including 1.16. So we tried to reduce as much redstone dust as possible on this farm. We specifically did this so we can reduce as much lag as possible. The only dust in this whole farm is right here, these 7 right here. So out of all the concrete being blown up, about 98.72% will actually be collected. So if you round that up, it's around 99% efficient. The loss mainly comes from items being stuck on a ledge, maybe, and then getting item elevated all the way up here, and just them not being able to get out in time. I mainly made this thing for Exuma Void. After I learned that he made 2 different concrete blast chambers and all of them didn't really work out too well, I decided to take up this project, and I think it came out pretty well. I purposely made it to be lag efficient and very simplistic to build, and compact.
And I helped Activation make it as simplistic as well as straightforward and compact and easy to understand as possible, given the limitation that we're also trying to keep it extremely efficient. Overall, it turned out very nicely. Everything is easy to see, easy to build up, while also not allowing too much lag to come out of it, as there is a lot of updates because everything's moving very quickly. With the design being compact, you can actually easily hide this inside of some type of building you have on the server. Next, guys, we'll show you guys how to use this machine after you have it built up. If you're in versions like 1.12, where you don't have the access to using the trapdoors, you have to be in survival, and we'll have to have a Elytra, where you can go into Elytra mode by going underneath of this block by triple hitting your spacebar very quickly. Once you're underneath this block, you can come over here and you are ready to place in the concrete. And then you just aim forward and have your right click button held down. Now, since we only made this 4 deep, it's very easy to click the back. So it don't really matter where you aim towards the back. It's really easy to get in all 4 pieces. And over here, the items are falling down. Once they get remotely close, as long as you're within 1 meter of where the item falls, it will automatically come into your inventory. So you can easily pick up all the items, and you just sit here with your right click button held down. Now, there's a couple ways you can keep this held down. In 1.12, you can use the F11 trick, where when you press F11, then when your screen goes black, you lift up your right mouse button, and then it will automatically allow you to place in concrete while being AFK. Now, you can always use a weight on your mouse or switch your mouse button using your controls to a different key on the keyboard and put a weight on it. Now, there's another option where you can actually stand over here if you don't want to be in Elytra mode, and you can shift click on top of this dropper, place in all 3 while being a survival. It's a little harder to aim, but it can be done. You can also do that in 1.15. Now, the easiest way, obviously, in 1.15 is just to stand inside the trapdoor and close it, and this will put you into Elytra mode, which will allow you to easily aim at the back without even needing an Elytra. Now, 1.15, you can also do the right-click constantly held down trick by doing F3 plus T, and then when your screen comes up with the loading screen, just lift up on your right-click, and then from there on, the game will memorize that button being held down and allow you to AFK. So these are all methods allowing you to AFK the system, and as long as you have concrete in here, it'll just constantly feed it to the player. And then when you're done, you just stop placing it in. There is no on or off switch since it's completely based off of the player. You don't have to worry about turning it on or off at the wrong time. You can just come down here and pick up all your concrete converted from the powder into the concrete blocks without you having to do any manual mining.
And when building up this farm, you actually don't need to have any of this concrete in there. The only concrete you do need to have is under this water stream, and that's it.
That way the water doesn't escape the area.
So this blast chamber concept is by Acheron River. He has a really great tree farm hooked up to his concept like this, and you can check out that video down in the description below.
And if you guys like to see how to build this up in your very own world, we provided the world download so you can see how every block is placed in precisely. This was a collab with Activation and myself, so make sure to check out his channel where he also does a lot of automated farms, as well as he has a Let's Play series on the Protech SMP server, as he is one of the members. You can find his channel linked below. We'd like to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!